Hey, what's good, yo? Welcome back to another video. Today we're actually joined by a very special guest. He covers the Cincinnati Bengals, and why don't you introduce yourself, man?
Yeah, no problem. I'm Rory with Roar Sports Media. I cover the Bengals, but I generally talk all of NFL. I'm just kind of more centralized on the Bengals, just to because they're my team. They've been my team since I was a kid, so I'm kind of very, very passionate about them. But I talk everyone, so I'm kind of looking forward to shooting the I don't know if you can cuss, but just shooting some topics with the Texans and all that stuff. And man, what a year you guys have had. It's been crazy for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's a nightmare offseason that we've been through. I mean, I don't think
Mhm.
when Nick Casario, like
bro.
our general manager, when he signed that contract, we're paying him handsomely, of course, a 6 year contract though, but he definitely got into a very, very tough situation. But you gotta credit how he's dealt with the situation that he's been given. But yeah, it's been absolutely crazy. Like from the whole Easterby saga to Deshaun requesting a trade to this whole allegations, it's like how much more crazier can it get? And it's like as if last offseason wasn't crazy, with trading DeAndre Hopkins and that terrible, terrible trade. So I don't know. Like this somehow topped that, but yeah, we're here. We're still here. We're still recording videos. We didn't lose our sanity yet, and yeah, we're just here to talk Texans and Bengals today.
Yeah, well, to be fair, yeah, you guys have had a terrible year, but honestly, even in
Yeah.
the national media, like you guys are still way more respected than the Bengals. It's kind of funny. Like it's so weird, like that. Like you guys have had just this. I mean, I would say it's a trash year. Definitely not what you guys are used to doing. Because I mean, for a long time, I think that mainly the national media has been pretty high on the Texans because like you guys have been a perennial like playoff team. So man, the past
Yeah.
year and a half has just been terrible for you guys.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, things are looking up for us, in the Bill O'Brien era. We're going 9-7, 9-7, 11-5, 10-6. And then after you said, we traded DeAndre Hopkins, everything kind of went downhill for us. And I was never really a big fan of Bill O'Brien. I always thought he was a bit of conservative, kind of like Kubiak in a way, where I never really took any risks. So, in a way, I'm happy for the new changes that we made. But man, from hiring Nick Casario, where Sean Watson found out about that through Twitter, that's absolutely horrible. And for that to happen, and then for Deshaun Watson to request a trade, it's just been a crazy offseason. Now we have allegations of Deshaun Watson possibly going to court soon. For me, I mean, this is the craziest offseason I've ever seen from any team in the NFL's history. I really don't know how much worse it could get at this point.
So, I mean, just from an outside perspective, because I'm not super into the Texans. Do you guys think that Deshaun stays with you? Because like at this point, just from like just outside looking in, like I don't know how he goes back and quarterbacks for you guys at this point, just because like that relationship is kind of, you
Yeah.
know, I just don't see it. But I mean, I think that I don't believe all these allegations. It just seemed too kind of like you
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
all at one time. So I mean, I think that once that starts to clear up, dude, you guys are going to get a massive haul for Deshaun Watson. Like I think you guys are going to get like pretty much what you're not having in the draft this year. You're going to be loaded up in the future to come. That's just from
Yeah.
a prediction from what I think is going to happen. Don't know clearly, but I think that it's going to turn out for the best and eventually.
I mean, as we should. I mean, Deshaun Watson is a top three quarterback, in my opinion. He's the second best quarterback in the NFL behind Patrick Mahomes. I feel like for someone trading Deshaun Watson, they should at least give us 3 first-round picks, multiple second-round picks, starters on defense. That's what you need for a generational type player like Deshaun Watson. But there's implications because of the allegations against him, and they may be true, they may not be true. Right now, there's been lots of talk about settlement,
Yeah,
possible Busby kind of being fake, and just going along with the ladies have brought to him. And right now, they don't seem too real. But I think that I don't see Deshaun Watson in a Houston Texans jersey again because it goes back to the relationships of McNair and Easterby and kind of what they did. And they don't really run the team, the organization at all very well. One of the worst run organizations in the NFL. And I can't really blame Deshaun Watson for winning out.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, yeah, Deshaun Watson, like right now, as of now, it's still like he said versus 22 she says right now. So like it's like there's no like concrete evidence. It's just like one word against another person's word. So obviously that's still in flux, but I still feel like I can see both ways of Deshaun either staying at least for this next season or being gone because these allegations they could with trade interest, right? Like, do teams become more interested now that with these allegations, they're thinking like, oh, could we get Deshaun for cheaper than they wanted him to because of these allegations? Like, we're going to take your problem off your hands, right? In a sense, so like, maybe like that's why I think that some teams might become more interested in Deshaun Watson but I feel like his trade value is more or less the same. I feel like this settlement thing might hopefully best case scenario might clear up by the NFL draft. I mean, there's only 5 days away to the NFL draft, so who knows if that will work out. But that's what I'm hoping for. I personally don't think Deshaun Watson will be a Texan in the near future because he already said that. I think Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter said that he doesn't want to play in a Texans jersey ever again or something like that. And the whole my instant reaction when Deshaun Watson like said he wanted out, I was first confused and kind of felt betrayed because he did sign that extension, a 4 year. We paid him 4 year, $160 million, and I'm like, wow, this guy's going to be your quarterback of the future, this and that, and then obviously the whole Easterby saga, and then his allegations. I just think that it was so weird because Deshaun Watson did this first game check. He gave that to the lunch ladies. That's the kind of guy who we thought he was, and I mean, who knows what the real truth is? And but this guy's done so much for the community, so many great things. I don't know how this allegation thing came to light, but here we are now, and it is what it is, right? So just
Yeah.
gotta deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, either way, I think in the long term it clears itself out and the Texans are gonna be fine. Like, yeah, you guys have a pretty solid culture down there. I think that you're just going through a rough patch, dude. Like, I think in the long term, I think that honestly, I think the Broncos will make a move for you because I don't think they're going to get a good quarterback at 9 or the quarterback that they want. But like you said, I think that maybe a Deshaun Watson does come down in like trade value or whatever value a little bit, but not like a whole lot. I
Mhm.
still think that you could get 2 firsts and maybe 2 thirds from him, like if everything clears out.
Yeah, I think
Right.
that's the ideal situation at this point. I mean, we can't be like beggars can't be choosers at the same time.
Right.
Like we're trading like a whole generational talent. Like the Texans have been on a QB carousel for like the moment they've been on been a team in the NFL, right? From David Carr to Ryan Mallett's to the Ryan Fitzpatrick's to the Brock Osweiler's to the Matt Schaub's. You know, you can go on forever
Yeah.
and ever. And I'm sure as a Bengals fan, you've known that like kind of feeling of not having a super great quarterback. Obviously, you have Andy Dalton for a few years. He was mediocre. I think you could say at best. I don't
So
know, but a lot of people have
I,
said like the line for mediocrity is Andy Dalton, like the Dalton line or something. And so, like, what do you think about like how like your whole quarterback situation went before Burrow? I guess.
so the Cincinnati Bengals, we've never had terrible quarterbacking, really. Just, I mean, I would say average to above average, but nothing ever like, gosh, Don, I mean,
Mm,
that's that guy, generational type talent. Um, I think in a lot of ways the organization fails the quarterbacks. Just like I don't want us to fail Joe Burrow because like he is that generational type quarterback for our franchise. I mean, just the buzz around him, like just the swag that he has. Andy Dalton, I think yes, he is. He was an average to above average quarterback for the duration that he was with us. Um, but it shows you whenever you have a AJ Green and a good offensive line, that average quarterback can be productive, even though you beat us twice in the playoffs, which I hate. So yeah, but
oh
I mean
yeah.
we've had Boomer Esiasons, we've had Andy Daltons, we've had Carson Palmers, and they've been good quarterbacks for us. Ken Anderson was a league MVP. We've always had average to above average quarterbacks, except from the 90s, which was, just a nightmare period for us. I don't ever want to be that again. But yeah, I mean, in total, I think that we've been all right at the quarterback, but our team tends to fail our quarterbacks.
Oh
That's
yeah.
just my
So with
general
that
opinion.
being said, I had a little question for you. So I know you said that you wanted Jamar Chase to
Oh, I
compare
don't.
to
I
Joe
don't want Jamar
Burrow.
Chase.
You don't want Jamar Chase. So
No. Go
so what
ahead.
I was gonna say is, don't you think that the best pick for the Bengals would be to get Penei Sewell and put him anywhere across that line? Because I know that he can play guard. I know that he can play tackle. That would be very good for the franchise, especially coming off a torn ACL. For Joe Burrow, he needs to be protected,
Hmm.
and I think that'd be
Yeah.
a great move for them.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's just dude? I quit watching the NFL last year after I saw that scene. Like it disturbed me to a point that the national media was so correct in their analysis. They're like, they're gonna get this guy killed, and then I was like, oh man, like maybe it's not that bad. And then boom, he gets killed, and I'm just like, they were right. They were right the entire time. And dude, I'm not gonna lie, like I watched. I was in Korea. I watched the game at 2:30 in the morning. Woke up and then saw it happen. Went back to my room and just slept. Just laid in bed for the next 2 days. I couldn't do it. I just turned off the light and was in despair. Just I didn't know what to do with my life. And honestly, I didn't watch a whole lot of NFL after that. I stopped. I mean, I got to the point where I just stopped covering the NFL because I was just like, I can't watch it. So yeah, at 5, I personally take Penei Sewell. I mean, Jamar Chase, I think is going to be a great talent, and I love it. But the Cincinnati Bengals don't have a real weakness at receiver. We have T. Higgins, who was a consensus, late first round wide receiver last year and had nearly 1,000 yards last year, even after Burrow was taken out. Tyler Boyd, he has been PFF's consensus best slot receiver since like 2018. Receiving, we're decent. We're not clearly not, we're not world beaters. Jamar Chase adds to that, but what good is having those weapons if you don't have the protection?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? When you don't have a Joe Mixon, producing 1,000 yards, and you don't have Burrow with enough time to get through his reads, and then he's coming off an ACL and MCL major injury. Quarterbacks tend not to be super confident after major injuries, especially if their lines are shaky. So, I mean, I want to make sure that Joe Burrow feels as comfortable in the pocket as possible. And for me personally, I would give him Penei Sewell just because he is probably top 2 offensive lineman in this draft. I like Rashawn Slater a lot also. It's just I think Penei offers a little bit more as a prospect.
Yeah, trust me, we know what you're talking about coming from a Texans fan. Like 2017, Deshaun Watson's rookie season, he was tearing the league up. In the first 6 games as a starter or something, he broke the rookie touchdown record or something crazy. We were on the top of the world. Like, even if we were losing games, like Seahawks game comes to mind, that was a really close game in 2017. Like, we were on Texans fans were feeling really good. Who cares if we were losing or not? We felt like for the first time in forever, we had our franchise quarterback, and then boom, he tears his ACL in practice. That was like one of the worst feelings in the world. And the problem that the Texans did is that they didn't really prioritize getting him protection until the Laramie Tunsil trade, which basically kind of mortgaged our future and kind of had other repercussions. Now that we're seeing it now, that the Dolphins now have the 3rd overall pick, which could have been ours, obviously there are a lot of records could have changed, ranking wise or whatnot, but we year after year, Deshaun Watson was in top 5 in sacks taken. So obviously y'all don't want to have that situation with Joe Burrow whatsoever. Like, that's what our whole organization mismanagement is. Like, that's why we kind of ruined his career in the first 3 years by not really protecting him well. Like, our lines were terrible. Like, our left tackle was Julian Davenport. And he was
one
just
of the worst.
a walking turnstile. Like obviously, and then we drafted Titus Howard, got Laramie Tunsil, and then our bookends were kind of fine, but then the inside O line was still terrible. And so now the one year that we actually get a decent O line, Deshaun Watson wants out. This whole thing's happening. It's so crazy. And so yeah, definitely, I think Penei Sewell is the pick for y'all. Like there's no point of getting Jamar Chase if Joe Burrow can't even throw to him. Like, if he's constantly scrambling around and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, Bengals Twitter is like, Jamar Chase, there's linemen in the draft. I'm like, and I'm just like, I had this weird thing, we haven't hit on offensive linemen in 9 years of drafting offensive linemen. Dude, not one of them has really produced for us at a high level. I mean, PFF literally says we miss most of the time when it comes to linemen. Doesn't matter the round, first through any round. We just don't hit. So Bengals Twitter is just like, dude, we can get offensive line later in the draft. And it just stuns me that they trust the analysis and the evaluation of offensive linemen for the Bengals organization just in general. That it amazes me that they trust them to that extent when they haven't shown that they can do it. For me, that's why I'm a Penei guy. Don't get me wrong, I love Jamar Chase and I love him as a weapon. I think he's going to be a great dude, a all-pro, multiple Pro Bowl level receiver. But I want an all-pro tackle. That's what I want. I want Joe Burrow to feel as safe in the pocket as possible, and give him time to read the field, go through his reads, and opening up holes for Joe Mixon, who for me personally, I think he's about a top 5 to top 8 back in the league when given the opportunity. Because he's had multiple 1,000-yard seasons behind the worst offensive lines in the NFL. So I think it's time for us to start building the foundation and a little bit less on the weapon side, because we've always had decent weapons. We've had Chad Johnsons and AJ Greens and Tyler Eiferts whenever he was putting up 15 touchdowns a year. We've always had decent weapons, but offensive line has seemed to always miss for us, and defensive line too. We just don't hit. Our trench evaluation is just not fantastic. It's not a good situation to be in. And they say the games are won and lost in the trenches, and that still holds true. If you can't block and you can't get to the quarterback, you don't win games.
Absolutely. And I would say that while quarterback is the most important position in football, the second most important position in football is the left tackle. And Penei Sewell, I know you guys have Jonah Williams, who may have potential, may or may not have potential. I don't know where you see him playing. He can maybe miss right tackle. And Penei Sewell can be elite at left tackle. But it's very, very important for them to do that. And I like the weapons you have in T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon. I think that's exactly what you need. And with a deep receiver class, you can finish out their receiver and core with another receiver in the second or third round, and that should work perfectly fine. It's a very deep class, and then the Bengals have a lot of promising players on defense. I really love the linebacking core you have in Cincinnati. I think the secondary is gonna miss a little piece of William Jackson being gone, but there's a lot of corners I like in the draft too. And I feel like the Bengals can go there and kind of improve, and they're going to be a sleeper team with making moves like Penei Sewell finishing out the roster and Joe Burrow hopefully coming back strong.
Oh yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think we have all the flash and none of the substance is how I would describe it. We have, Jesse Bates was PFF's, most productive safety of the year. I mean, we have, I'm not fully loving our cornerback situation. We have Chidobe Awuzie and Trey Waynes who are decent. Um, they're about average to a little bit less than above average CVs for me, which is not great, but not bad. But it's just, dude, our defense, we had 17 sacks last year total, and offensive line, we allowed Joe to get sacked 30 times before 10 games. It's, Cincinnati, we're a glass cannon. We're productive on offense sometimes, but then, a lot of times we're just not going to hold up is how I describe it pretty much.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, how do you guys feel like what other holes do you have on that Cincinnati? I know you just mentioned secondary and all, but like I know y'all have a decent amount of picks, right? As the Bengals. So like, what other positions other than like secondary and are you guys looking at?
So for us, I mean, a lot of people are saying that wide receiver. I don't see it. I mean, I personally want to just go trenches the first 3 rounds. Um, Sorry, I think my dog sees a squirrel or something like that. My bad. Sorry. But for me personally, I'm going trenches. I want offensive line and defensive line. I want to get to the quarterback. I want to stop the run. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. Like my dog is being all crazy. Um, this is it's life. So I mean, for me personally, like I don't want to go far outside of the trenches and then maybe get a few receivers later in the draft because I don't think we need a number one. I think T can be that for us. I think we need contributors, which I think there are plenty in this draft. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Have you guys looked into Simi Fihoko out of
Hmm.
Stanford?
Yeah.
Dude, for
Oh
me, he's a
yes, we
totally
like him.
unpolished like DK Metcalf. Like he
Yes.
is absolutely. I think he can be productive. I think that his measurables. No, sorry, my bad. So yeah, dude, I absolutely love him coming out of Stanford, and then Jalen Darden at North Texas. Like, dude, little speedster, love him, and I think that we can get him in the 4th to 5th round area. But yeah, for me personally, I'm sticking to the trenches. I want to get to the quarterback, and I want to protect mine.
Yeah, speaking of prospects, like what are your favorite prospects? I know you mentioned Simi. I really like Simi too. I feel like for us, I was thinking he could be a tight end for us. If you saw our last mock draft video, we kind of hoping that because our tight end room isn't the greatest. Obviously, we have Jordan Akins and Kahali Waring who are okay. They haven't shown too much like they've had their moments, but Colin Waring barely got any snaps. Jordan Aiken seems to be tight end number one right now, and Simi Fehoko, he has that size too. He could be a tight end if he wanted to. I feel like it could be possible he puts up a little bit more weight, and that is a potential thing. And then you mentioned I personally like Josh Immature Bebe. I think he kind of looks like DK Metcalf, kind of like you mentioned with Simi Fehoko. And yeah, I think that I like those guys. I like there's so many safety prospects that I like. I like Jamar Johnson. I feel like he could fall early in the third, and then there's also other guys, Elijah Molden, who I kind of like, Ardarius Washington, pretty good guys who I think are have that dog mentality to really kind of fix the culture on our defense as well.
Yeah. So I think in the later rounds, I'm not gonna lie. I was about to say Jamar Johnson too. I like him as a safety, but I just not for the Bengals. I think we have our safety situation pretty handled with Jesse Bates and Von Bell, and maybe we can get a rotational guy later on. But I think we're good there. Man, Tay Gowan out of UCF. I love him. He got out last year, but he's a long, lanky corner with some speed that I think that is from a measurable standpoint is I would love to get him, but it might need a little bit of polishing. I think you get him in like the 4th, 5th round also.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
absolutely. So my favorite prospects, we actually kind of did a mock draft the other day, and I got 2 of my favorite prospects in Amon St. Brown and Israel Mukumu from South Carolina. He's a 6'4" cornerback, and with the Texans looking to shift to a cover 2 system with Lovie Smith, I feel like he'd be the perfect corner. He's very physical. He's got that length, and we also got a run stuffer in Tonga from BYU. So that's something the Texans also need. So we're going to be looking for kind of a run stuffer kind of guy. Tadero Slayton from Florida. He's at 360 pounds, which may be a bit much to play football, but he can get that weight down a little bit. He'd be a great run stuffer. And some other steals, I really love TJ Vasher, even though he may be projected to go undrafted. He's 6'6" from Texas Tech, and I really love him as a deep threat prospect at receiver. And I think that'd be really good.
Yeah, good. I mean, good names. I mean, I like them for you guys, man, but you guys' draft situation is not fantastic. Like, dude, I feel like the football gods just like, you know what? The Texans, F those guys. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, dude, you guys are in such it's not the optimal situation, but like I said, I think that the karma will bounce back in favor of you guys in the future. I think that you guys will be fine. It might be a pretty rough for the next,
Yes.
probably, I would probably say definitely next year. It's just not looking fantastic from I mean, even an outside perspective. But if everything just happens to turn out right, you can't get the trade value for Deshaun and then all that stuff, I think that it fixes itself. By the way, that, like you said earlier, that Dolphins pick, man, you could have got yourself pretty much either probably more likely Justin Fields or Trey Lance at that spot, or I don't know, the riser Mr. Mac Jones, which I don't know, I don't believe in it, dude. For me, like,
I
Mac
do not
Jones,
like him as a prospect.
Yeah, Mac Jones is basically Kyle Trask. Like, I don't see a whole lot of difference between the two. For me personally, I just don't see what NFL teams are like. You know what? I need me some Mac Jones. I mean, I mean, for me, I don't love it, but I think you guys, if you still had that Dolphins pick, I think that's what kills you right now.
Yeah, just gonna have to shut off don't watch the draft for the first like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Just skip those first 3 picks and then just watch from there. I guess
the draft starts at 4, basically.
the draft starts at 4. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, gotta deal with it. And like, just going off of that, just like, what expectations do you have? Like, I know y'all have Coach Zach Taylor there, so like, what do you think about him as a coach, and what expectations do you have for the Bengals next season?
So for me personally, Joe Burrow sings his praises, but I don't know if that's just Joe just being Joe and like, you know, just being that good guy at the office and like, you know, taking up for management and, you know, basically trying to make it. I don't love Zach Taylor. I think he's very, I don't want to say fake, but it just seems like he always knows what to say, but just doesn't produce, right? He's that guy at the office is basically, yeah, I can do this, and we're gonna be fine, da 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 da. And then later on, you got reports missing, and things haven't been touched up. That's Zach Taylor for me. I just don't love. I don't see the culture. I don't see what he's implementing. I just don't see the future from him. For me personally, I didn't really love the pick anyway. For me, man, that's Shaylath. I mean, of course, he wasn't like a giant name, but like if we could have got a coach like that, just a guy that makes players want to run through a wall for him. I mean, I like those coaches personally because when I was in football, that's what I liked. I liked a guy that would maybe want to go play football. Zach Taylor makes me want to like do an audit, just basically. I don't know. I'm not. He has like no personality. He's white bread. That's enjoy. Here's a plain chicken breast. That's Zach Taylor. For me, that's how I feel about him. I'm not excited about next season with Zach Taylor. But I mean, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe he's like the best coach and that possible for Joe Burrow. I don't know.
So from my understanding, that he was supposed to be kind of like a McVay guy. He worked under Sean McVay, and he was the young coach. I think the Bengals are kind of trying to copy the Rams, and really seems like that didn't work at all.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like
Go ahead.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's trying to copy that, trying to find the next McVay. Like, with the Chargers hiring was Staley, Staley, like, as their coach. Like, I really wanted Staley as the Texans head coach. I thought that as a defensive kind of guy, like, kind of shape up their defense. And how I don't know how to feel about Cully. I mean, he got his first he never had an offensive coordinator job ever, and then he just go like his first like actual head job is like a head coach. So there is some wariness there, and he's also like 65 or something. So who knows if the game has passed him or not? And he wasn't that great as a wide receivers coach, like in Kansas City especially. I think their receivers barely got any yards or something. So like I don't know how I feel about that. I think we're all expecting Bieniemy, but it's kind of curious that Bieniemy hasn't really been rehired by the Kansas City Chiefs, because I think his contract like kind of ended with them. But I think they were trying to look for Kafka to replace Bieniemy, but it's kind of a weird situation at Kansas City right now. But yeah, I guess I'm just cautiously optimistic. Hopefully the Texans can go like maybe I just hope we win like a few games, maybe get close games maybe. I feel like we're probably gonna have the same record as last season. Probably realistically like 4-13, maybe on a hopeful side, maybe 6-11. I don't even know, but yeah, that's what it is.
From you guys, man. I mean, I do like some of the pickups that you guys got. I mean, I think Shaq Lawson's a fantastic addition to you guys' team. But coach wise, I don't know if I love it, dude. For me personally, I mean, dude, like, granted, you said he's 65 and never had a coordinator position. Like, that's insane. I mean, Zach Taylor never had a coordinator position either. He was just a quarterback's coach. Like,
but the difference is that Cully has been in the league for like 40 years.
Right.
So
yeah. But I think that one maybe has too much experience and maybe has a lot of bad habits, and the other one just has no habits. So I mean, it's just opposite spectrums, and I just don't love the situation. I don't love the situation for either one of our teams, honestly. Yeah, cautiously optimistic would be the correct verbiage.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know what to expect from David Cully, but I mean, the other coaching staff, there are some good guys like Pep Hamilton as their
quarterback coach.
QB coach. Yeah, sorry, that is just blank.
It's okay, yeah.
QB coach, and then Robert Prince as their wide receiver coach, and then Lovie Smith is kind of a question mark. He didn't have too great of a outing at Illinois, but we'll still have to see. I think a lot of people are speculating from Texans fans that Cully could be like a bridge coach. He did sign like a 5-year contract, but who knows what will happen there. But yeah, they might see him as a bridge coach. Maybe like get some other young coach whenever the next coaching cycle happens. But yeah, we'll still have to see about that.
Yeah, I think that you guys are very. I think that you guys purposely went a little bland. Just like, hey, maybe don't expect it a lot right now. We don't. It's a transition period. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I guess coming from a little more Bengals sphere. I mean, I think our success depends on whether or not we can keep Joe Burrow healthy and protected.
Yeah.
Because I mean, honestly, if he is like the guy who I think he is, and we draft well, yeah, I mean, I could see us winning like probably 9 to 10 games if Joe Burrow is there, and where he's protecting, run game is going, and all that stuff. If we can't protect him, and that injury is a big deal, dude, we're probably going the same record. It's probably going to be like another like 4 to 5 win season, and it's going to be a longer season too. So I mean, that with that extra game. So I mean, it just depends on the situation. It's going to be very situational for the Cincinnati Bengals. Real fast, what were your takes on our new uniforms?
Oh, I love the uniforms actually. There's like an orange, white, and black. You could mix and match all those colors. I thought they were pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty sleek. I like how they removed that little patch thing that they had on the jersey. I thought it was pretty good. I know some people said like, well, y'all didn't change anything. There's like no difference. But like, I feel like the difference is like, it's the subtle changes that really go a long way. So I personally like the New Jersey change from y'all. And we definitely need a New Jersey for the Texans.
Yes, we do.
And we probably need a whole rebranding, to be honest. Like, I mean, the logo is fine, but low-key, we could use a different name, but whatever, Texans, it's whatever.
Yeah. I'm kind of happy. My predictions for the Bengals like the first year that I created a YouTube channel, I was like, we need to rebrand, and we need to like change the culture in Cincinnati, and we need to make a ring of honor. We need to honor our old players because that's why we're not really thought of. No one knows any of the old Cincinnati Bengals players. Why would we expect the media to know who they are if we don't know who the hell they are? So I mean, I was just kind of happy that pretty much all my predictions for the Bengals and pretty much coming up was correct. And whenever I did it, and I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't far off the uniforms either from what we did. Made a video about it. Go watch it. Bengals rebrand. It's great. But yeah, I love the uniforms personally, just because it's a lot less busy. It's a lot more sleek. One thing I probably would have added a little bit more. I don't know. I kind of wanted a little bit of stripes down the middle, a little bit, like just maybe add like a stripe or two in the middle of the section, because I feel like it's a little bit empty for me personally. But I mean, out of 10, I give it like a 7.5. Yeah, I'm happy with it. Is it the best? I don't think it's the best, but I mean, whether it's the best or not is going to basically depend on if we win them.
Well, yeah, hopefully the best happens for both our teams. And with that said, that's going to be it for the video. Thank you for joining us, bro. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.
All right.